Hey guys, welcome to my review series for the comic storyline of Jurassic Park Redemption. IDW released 3 separate JP runs from 2010 to 2011, and this happens to be the first. I own all of them now, so I'll be able to read them and do reviews of the material on here as soon as humanly possible. With all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and begin. The year is 2004. A much older and more business-oriented Tim Murphy sits at a large table with one of his aides. He's currently in a meeting with someone of importance. He doesn't know who is exactly on the other end of his computer call, but he does know that they can help him achieve his wildest dreams. The voice he's talking to is disguised, electronic and weird. It's the Stephen Hawking routine. The voice wants Tim to ensure him that they will take the utmost and extreme amount of caution in their new business venture. They don't want any repeat incidents of what happened the last time. Tim assures him that they'll do just that, so the voice begins to sign off, assuring him that they'll be up and running within the next 24 months. They're going to be very, very rich men because of this. Tim makes it known that he's not interested in money, just the science. He stops to ask a final question to the mysterious financer. They aren't going to be dealing with any velociraptors, right? He's told, not a one. Now, in 2006, Lex Murphy holds a conference in front of a large audience. She's making a public statement to ensure that both Isla Nublar and Sorna remain forbidden from any human interference. It's imperative that they keep people out for the world's safety. Senators agree with her point of view, but let her know that this endeavor is extremely taxing on other countries' finances to do so. Before she leaves, she gives her final statement, saying that just one single breach of these sanctions could result in another catastrophic extinction, this time for mankind. The appalled crowd can't believe she's just said this, leaving their jaws on the floor as Lex walks out of the building and into the open streets of the usual protesters she gets from such work. Elsewhere, Dr. Henry Wu and Professor Backer are hard at work in a hidden lab. Backer hates the fact that Alan Grant hid this information from him for so long. This is his dream job. Wu says that Grant will definitely be surprised when they go public. Cloning new dinosaurs is something they're sure he'd take an interest in. Suddenly, the two get a call from someone over the radio, giving them an update on their schedule. They're around 2 months out from moving the dinosaurs into their new habitats. It's imperative that the two of them organize the transport smoothly for when the time comes. They tell their employer not to worry and get to work. After the meeting, Lex makes her way out of the area in a limousine. She's become a celebrity as an adult, well known as a survivor of Jurassic Park and heir to the Hammond estate. She started her own company, LexCorp, which happens to be the lead supplier of organic vegetable products in the world. But such popularity comes with its usual haters. Even in the light of such disdain, Lex always looks for the good in all people. She's forever been the negotiator. She can't let something so pointless hold her up. She's on her way to Costa Rica and needs to get to the airport ASAP. Meanwhile in Texas, a truck full of supplies makes its way to a closed-off area. Inside, several crates are being moved in preparation for the next step in this grand plan. They need to get ready for what's about to come next. And several thousand feet in the sky, Lex makes business calls on her personal jet. She's got a lot of work ahead of her, so she makes sure to clear any meetings for the foreseeable future. Her assistant begins to ask the odd question. He's wondered what it was that Lex said to the wild protester, and just before he can get an answer, the plane turns abruptly. Pteranodons have caused a bit of turbulence for her flight, but the military escort seems to have things under control. They'll get to their destination in no time. A few hours later, a couple of men take some of the newly cloned trikes out to feed under the cover of darkness. They've already eaten through all of the supplies and still need sustenance. One of the men decides the trikes have had enough, but promptly gets swatted away after attempting to move them. Angered by the animal, the man shoves the butt of his shotgun into the side of one of their heads, before tasing the dinosaur into submission, getting it to finally go back into its hold. Meanwhile, a group of people have gathered around John Hammond's Pachyderm Park. Tim Murphy was in the middle of entertaining his guests before a senator named John pulls him away from the podium. He wants to know what the hell is going on with Tim's little side project. He's been covering for him for years, and he's got a ton of heat on him. The shipment's to nowhere, the truck's carrying God knows what, people are starting to ask questions and it's looking bad. Tim assures him that they'll have things perfected in a month or two, and promises to not stir any more attention. We then head over to Costa Rica, where Lex has begun her important work. Lauren, one of her aides, asks why Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler didn't stand with Lex to make her earlier address. Lex fills her in on their frustration. They've been fed up with it longer than most, especially Alan. Suddenly, she gets a call, and coincidentally, it's Dr. Sattler, who's called to talk with Lex about her earlier speech. She's glad that they can put this whole dinosaur nightmare behind them. Back in Texas, someone screams for answers, shouting, "What do you mean he got out?" A bloodied Henry Wu says that he was sure that the cages were secure, but somehow their Carnotaurus has escaped. Someone had to have purposefully let the Carno out. His superior is quite upset with this turn of events. The shadowy man in a wheelchair lets him know of his frustration. This man's bodyguard asks if they're about to head to the site, but the disfigured man says that they won't do anything until the situation heats up just a bit more. Back in Texas, a driver pulls his load of cattle out on the road, and wild coyotes begin to growl at an intruding predator. The dogs are tasty, but the Carno needs something bigger to hold him over. The driver gets out of his vehicle to relieve himself, just before a cow is pulled from the truck and torn into by the dinosaur. It snaps its jaws while the herd pushes each other to the back of the truck. Soon, it discovers the driver and begins to move toward it with hungry eyes. Just before an incoming vehicle spooks it, and the animal takes its leave into the wilds of Texas. Well, we certainly got a lot going on here. This story begins in a really crazy way by shifting the plot to multiple different areas for reasons they don't really elaborate on in the first issue. The art style is noticeably different to that of the cover art, but this is to be expected in Jurassic Park comics. The story of Tim opening his own version of Jurassic Park is quite interesting, and I know it's something that people had played around with for years, but I'm not so sure that it will be able to translate into an excellent story. You'll have to wait and see in the coming issues. Now, before I go, I'd like to thank my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank my park workers and InGen hunters as well. I'm thankful to all of you for helping me do this, guys, and it means the world to me that all of you continue to give me all of the support. Now, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and hope that you all enjoyed today's content. If you feel like I deserved it, I'd appreciate the like and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. I'll see you all in the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.